So this is going really well. We have created our different shifts for Johnny. We've created our different forms for Johnny. We can now start to click the Lodge Shift Report and start to add information. However, that's not what we want to do. The whole point of this is that we can allow other people to enter this information. We want the support workers to be putting in the information for us. In order to do that, we're going to have to give access to some other users, which we can do by clicking on the User Access tab. So if we look at the list of users that currently has access to Johnny Tutorial, currently it is just us, just ourselves. So let's click on Add New User. We can have the new user's email address here. We're going to create an account, share an account with the support workers for Johnny. So their email address is going to be Johnny support worker rather at pbs.com.au, because in this world I employ them directly. Our next field here is the invite message. This is going to be emailed to them when they receive this invitation to either access Johnny or to the service itself. It can be helpful to put something in here because, as we all know, we all get a lot of spam emails saying, please click here to set up this account, and we've all been trained to ignore those emails. So by writing something here, you can decrease the likelihood that the person's just going to delete the email assuming it's spam. Hopefully that will let them know that this is a human here. Next up, as I'm creating a new, giving a new user access to Johnny Tutorial, I need to define what is their relationship to Johnny. Is this the individual themselves who I'm sharing it with? Is it the legal guardian? Or is this another authorized person? I'm sharing it with the support team, so they are other authorized people there. And then our next important set of questions here is, how much access do we want to grant this user? I don't necessarily want the support workers to be going in and to be editing my forms and to be deleting the whole data set itself. So I'm going to restrict the access that they have here. There are 4 levels of privileges that we can give to a user. We can give them write access only. This will allow them to enter new shift reports for Johnny, to read information that they themselves have entered. End of list. That is the most restrictive level of access. Next level of access can be read access. So this will give them the ability to read all of the information that has been entered regarding Johnny. Our next list here is edit access. This will allow them to create, edit, and destroy shifts, forms, and questions exactly as we just saw. They're going to be able to delete information regarding Johnny, and they'll be able to send email reminders to staff for missing shift reports, which is a feature we'll see in a moment. And then our last feature here is master. This is the highest level of access. This will let them read all of the information. This will even allow them to add other users, exactly as we're doing now, and it will allow them to remove other users as well. So if we grant them this access, they could actually remove our access to Johnny Tutorial, and they could permanently delete Johnny Tutorial. This is just a support team, so I'm going to give them access to write information. They're going to need that. I'm also going to give them access to read information that other staff have entered there as well, and click on Save. Now that I have invited a new user to have access to Johnny's data, I want to show you what that looks like from their perspective. So this is the email that they will have been sent. There is the message that we wrote. If the email address already had an account set up at Dibs, then there would just be a link which would take us directly to Johnny's page. But because they haven't done that yet, there is going to be a link which is going to take them to here where they can set up their account. There we go. And they have Johnny showing up there. Here's what happens when they click on Johnny. Before being given access to any of the information, they individually are going to have to individually or to agree themselves and confirm that they have consent to access this information. And now they're going to be able to access the information. What we will notice though, if they click here, they're not authorized to do that. If they try to create a new form, the button's not going to be there. They can look at these forms, but they cannot edit them because we did not give them privileges to do that. There is one last feature I would like to show you. This is going to require us to have a fully complete form. Great, that form is complete now. Now that it is complete, I'm not going to be able to go back and edit any of the information. Once the user has clicked on this Save and Close button, it is saved and locked there forever. That user is not going to be able to edit it. However, the user with higher privileges is going to be able to reopen that form so we can edit that information. Let me show you what that looks like. First, I'm going to sign out as the support worker. I'm going to sign back in as PBS practitioner. Did I remember the password? Hey, I did has about that. I can go into these forms. I can't edit the information here, but I can reopen the shift report. And once I've done that, we can edit the information again. And not only that, the support workers will be able to do it too. And I can also, now I've reopened it, delete this shift report. And the last thing to look at quickly here is the list of staff. Here we can see the Tim Staffy, who we did set up before. We can see his page and how many shift reports he has completed. We can see a list of all of the shift reports that he has completed directly there. And we could also manually add new staff if we wanted to here. I could go through the full list of staff who support Johnny Tutorial and add them all myself. Or, as we saw when they create new shift reports, if their name's not there, they can just add it themselves. So who would this be? Joel Staffy. And then they'd be able to continue as we saw before.